This message, or really conversation that I had with my spirit guide the other night, was really, really interesting regarding where we are headed, what this is going to feel like, and how you could really start to expand or take a deeper dive, however you want to look at it, into manifesting things into your life. And it was interesting because he started out by telling me that the reality that we're sharing now is so etheric. Okay, you may not be feeling it if you're still focused in the lower third dimensional bandwidth of reality. But the energy that's available here and supportive for you is so expansive that if you are allowing that energy to move through you, things can often feel very etheric, very dreamlike. So I've been feeling a lot of that lately. It's a spaciousness, it's almost a spaciness. But there's something really interesting in the center of it that I keep going back to, and that is just kind of allowing it, accepting it, and just riding it, like being in it. Because when you can do that, what happens is you start to release all of those ties that tie you to the egoic mind that is really stuck or trapped in the third dimensional reality that wants you to be doing things and moving through space-time in a way to manifest and to get things done, right? More effort equals more results. And that is not where we're headed. Where we're headed is essentially a frequency shift. And the frequencies have been grounded and anchored enough into the planet that they are available for you to be able to produce or create into that reality. So he was sharing this with me and telling me that when you actually focus in your intention and try to manifest something that you kind of, like right now, I'm envisioning just like this explosion of space-time to where you can dive into various parts or times of your life and actually connect up with those aspects of you and make these little frequency shifts that will ripple through space-time and manifest now. So we always think that manifestation is sitting in the present moment and feeling what it is or imagining what it would feel like to have the thing that is your desire, right? That you want to manifest, but you actually have the ability to get into the present moment, and through that portal, that heart space portal, you can actually step into the multidimensional you and connect with aspects of you from different times. Okay, it could be past versions of you, and you could actually transmit information back to those aspects of you that will cause you to make minor fluctuations in your frequency. You may not perceive it in reality, but it's going to ripple through and it's going to land in your present. Okay, so it's almost like going back in time and dropping a little nugget of info and it coming forward. Now, he's telling me that that is possible. Now, if you've been following me or subscribed to me for a while, you know that when I describe the fifth dimensional field, I describe it as a wheel and being up in the hub of the wheel. Because when you're in the hub of the wheel, you can see all the spokes, right, going out to the rim. I describe the rim as being 3D reality. In order to move through space and time, we need to go from across the rim to spoke to spoke to spoke to spoke. But when you travel up the spoke to the hub of the wheel, all of a sudden you're able to, call that the present moment, see all the spokes coming off that hub, going down to different points in time. So you have the ability, if you could get present aligned, raise your vibration, you can connect with these aspects of you and actually transfer information to them on a subconscious level. Now, maybe you weren't awake back then. It's not like you're going to perceive you coming in like this big etheric cloud and saying, hey, here's some information for you that is going to help you manifest in the future. But subconsciously, quantumly, across space and time, this information can be transferred. Remember, there really is no time. That's a human construct, right? That's how we as humans measure movement through space, right? We have time. So it's a human creation. It's an experience because we have this belief that we are moving through space in time and everything is essentially fixed. But that's not the case. And from the quantum field, everything's happening. It's just kind of there. It just exists. Infinite possibilities. So you have the ability to transmit information back and have that kind of ripple through your experience, because we're still operating from the belief of a timeline, right, to some extent. So we think about going back into the past, passing off some information, and it landing in the future as sending a wave through time, right? But what's really happening is we're just creating an experience of connecting with a different version of ourselves, one that the brain thinks was in the past and younger, but it's just a simultaneous existence right now. You are connecting up with that being, and you are transferring information from a higher state of being, because right now you're at a higher level of consciousness, right? So when you have had from the past, if you've ever had inspirational moments, things come out of nowhere, things just kind of land and appear for you, answers coming forward. One of the explanations for that could be this future, this now you, going back and actually transferring that information or making that information available to a past version of you. How cool is that? So my guide was he wanted to share with me, and I guess the whole point of this conversation was to not think of time as linear, because it limits you to the now. Like, have you ever had a thought that, boy, if I could go back into the past, if I could have bought Bitcoin in 2015 or whatever, or 2011 or 2012, right? Wow, I'd be like so wealthy right now, right? We've all had those types of thoughts. Why didn't I know back then, right? Well, you have the ability to transfer knowledge, and also from this now perspective, when you raise your vibration, you have the ability to receive knowledge. So if you're receiving knowledge from your guides, from your higher self, think of that as the future you transferring information to you now, because you've raised your vibration to be able to receive it. Now, you may be receiving it consciously now. The past versions of you may have just had that aha moment where it just kind of dropped in. Those are those whispers from the future you, right? From the current you, sending messages back to your past. So when you are thinking about manifesting, it's important to remember that nothing's off the table in terms of possibility. You have the ability to connect and set up these quantum threads through space and through time to other aspects of you and transfer information that way. And sure enough, that will ripple through time, space, and land in your reality if you really focus in on it and allow that to unfold. Now, years ago, I did a video about how I was staring at, it was like a 5th grade version of me. It was in the school that I went to school in. I remember I was sitting at a desk looking down, and I was just standing in the classroom looking at this aspect of me, and I was actually feeling what that version of me was feeling in that moment. So information was passing the other way, right? I was reconnecting up with a younger version of me through bilocation. I was also in the classroom with this version of me, feeling what this version of me was feeling. And that information was being passed forward to where I am now. So if we could pass it that way, we could certainly pass it backwards. And when we do that, again, backwards being the linear timeline perspective, right? So when you can do that, you will create subtle changes in your reality from a prior point in time. And those subtle changes, frequency shifts, will wave through, create a quantum wave through to the current moment. Now, you may not realize it right away. You may not experience those changes right away, but it is possible, okay? And these things could actually speed up manifestation. I'm not saying you can go back and tell your younger self to buy Bitcoin. You're going to wake up tomorrow and have, $10 million of Bitcoin, right? But when you could go back and you could pass information, what happens is it changes the mindset. It shifts the frequency of these aspects of you, and that shifts the quantum field, and that certainly affects who you are, where you are now. So when you do this, you could start to have opportunities start to open up seemingly out of nowhere, because what you've done is we're doing all this work now to try to change the future, Well, if we could go back in the past and make these subtle frequency shifts, we're essentially now standing in the future, and a lot of those shifts have anchored and taken place. So it's just up to the universe now to allow all of that to start to fill in. So you will, in fact, speed up manifestation. So if you're focusing, one of the big message he was saying was, if you're just focusing on right now and feeling what you're feeling right now, take that energy and connect with a past aspect of you and allow that energy to transfer back, that frequency back to that past version of you, and see what happens. Because that's going to, again, send that wave through time and through space, and it's going to speed up the manifestation of things around you because it's already been in the works. You're not sitting and doing it now for some future. You're actually aligning with the future now, because on the timeline, you are going from 5D down across one of those spokes back into 3D, connecting with an aspect of you subconsciously and creating these subtle shifts, right? That ripples out and you find yourself in a new timeline, okay, in a new reality. So timeline shifts, right? Think about it logically. If you went back and you were able to have an effect vibrationally on an older aspect, a younger aspect of you from the past, you're going to essentially create a timeline shift for you. It kind of catches up now and things align, and boom, you find yourself on another timeline. So the point of this video is to get you thinking in an expansive way. And when my guide comes through, sometimes he comes through with these concepts, guys, I can't even grasp, because it's like on the limit of where my consciousness is, right? We have to have that level of consciousness to truly understand these higher frequency things, and we're working to get there, but some things are outside of that scope, right? So he always comes in and he stretches me, and this happened at night. I was laying in bed, and all this information starts coming in. He's telling me about this, and it was basically from the perspective of, hey, try it and see what happens. Okay, so I'm offering you the opportunity to try that as well. So get aligned, like you're trying to, you want to manifest, you want to raise your vibration, you want to get your brain waves, your heart synced up, you want to feel like you've already had that thing. Try connecting with an older aspect of you and bring those two together, okay, the older aspect and this elevated emotional state, and leave it there. It's like going back in time and dropping little seeds they've already germinated because you're here now, right? They were planted way in the past. You're planting them now, but the seeds have germinated all those years, right? So maybe yesterday the seeds didn't exist because you didn't consciously do this, but today you're consciously doing it. You're planting the seed, and then you've got 20 years, 30 years, 40 years in between there for these seeds to germinate. So it's an interesting concept. I want to certainly play around with this and work on it consciously and see what happens. It's kind of exciting to me. It's just a new way of seeing manifestation and a new way of seeing timeline shifts and all of that amazing stuff. So if you found this video interesting and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and subscribe. I thank you for that, and click the like button. Also, if you are looking to learn how to activate your third eye, I'm going to drop a link to my third eye masterclass in the description here, where you can learn what it takes to do that and get started down that road as well. So a lot of exciting things happening. I'll see you next time.